Hello and welcome to You Don't Know Jack. My name is Chris Brown.
And I'm Hubert Maitland.
And we're recording today on a balmy, is that the right word?
Yeah,
balmy,
sure. It's not
Tuesday.
embalmy, because that would be a problem.
Yeah, no.
We don't want to embalm, but we're going to bomb.
Well, yeah,
it's balmy.
It's a balmy day. It's very cold outside. It is Tuesday, January 16th?
Yes. Yes, you got it right.
January 16th. Had to double check.
It's been a long week.
Yeah, it's been a long week.
Long year.
2024.
It's been a long year.
Yeah, exactly.
Already.
2024 just started, and it's already
super long year.
It feels like it's going fast, but it's also been, I don't know, kind of strange. We just got a snowstorm, quote unquote, in Chattanooga, Tennessee, with all 2 inches maybe of snow that came down yesterday.
Snowstorm. Yeah.
Yesterday was Martin Luther King Jr. Day. You know, shout out to Martin Luther King.
MLK.
And
all day.
Yes, sir. And
we don't play.
That he did. Fall till I fall. I have a dream. No, just kidding. All right, but on a serious note, yeah, definitely we got to shout out Martin Luther King Jr. and everything he did for the civil rights movement and for people everywhere. One of my favorite quotes from MLK Jr. was, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." So, you know, that's what we try to live our life by, treating others as we'd want to be treated.
That's a fact.
Making sure that everybody has a fair opportunity to pursue life, liberty,
and the pursuit
of happiness.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I feel like I should say amen to that.
Or just like a patriotic song afterwards. Dun, 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 dun. No, I'm just kidding. I kneel for the national. Why are we on politics?
I really don't know. This ain't politics podcast. I'll tell you that. I don't know nothing about that junk.
No, not at all.
But I know one thing. We're gonna get into these playoffs this weekend. It was a interesting weekend. They called it the Super Wild Card Weekend.
Super.
They had to put the super in there because, you know, they had to spice it up. It's don't know why. Well, I do know why, because nobody cares about the Wild Card Weekend.
Well, there were 12 teams in action, right?
I believe so. I didn't get 2, 4, 6, 8. Yes.
Yeah.
You know maths.
Yeah.
He knows the maths.
Well, you know, they recently expanded to 7 teams for each conference.
Yeah.
The number 1 seed, the 49ers for the NFC and the Ravens for the AFC got byes this week.
Yes.
And the rest of the teams were in action. Which I shouldn't say action like that because it really was more like action. It was, you know, there were a lot of blowouts.
Some teams were in action. The other teams were just lucky to be there.
Yeah.
We could start with let's start with Saturday games. Let's start with the Browns and the Texans, man. Let's start with those.
Oh yes.
Let's start with that team.
That was an interesting game.
I feel like the Texans could go all the way. And I don't mean to say that lightly, but I feel like the Texans can go literally all the way. I mean, C.J. Stroud looked phenomenal. Mm-hmm. The defense looked even more phenomenal. Mm-hmm. C.J. Stroud had 274 yards and 3 tubs. Joe Flacco, the guy that actually won a Super Bowl, he did some work. He had 307 yards, but he had those 2 INTs, which I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe they were pick sixes, both of them. Right?
I will double check, but I know one of them at least was.
No, definitely one of them was a pick six.
Yeah, I would double check the other one.
I want to say both of them were pick because I turned the game. So I turned to something else. That was the only game on at that slot. I think it was like a 4:30 slot or something like that. So I turned to something else, and then I came back, and the score was already like 40 something. I was like, wait, you were just at 20-14 or something to 14. I was like, wait, how did that work? So
yep, you were correct, sir. Back to back pick sixes for Joe Flacco in that game.
Yeah, so I mean, as good as the Browns were, number 1 defense in the league. Mm-hmm. They have a promising run game. They have Amari Cooper, Dak's favorite target. I mean, Amari had him a decent game, 4 catches for 59 yards. Njoku, the talented, big, fast tight end, led the way with 93 yards. But yeah, I mean, I was very shocked. I picked the Browns to win this game just solely because of that defense. But they didn't show up.
Yeah, that was a tough one for me. I was like, the Browns are playing well. Flacco's playing well. They've got experience there, obviously, with what Joe has been able to do in the past. That defense with Myles Garrett, I expected them to dominate that Texans O-line, but it didn't happen. It really didn't happen. And CJ Stroud showed you why he's one of the best young talents in the NFL, and he probably will continue to be going forward. I mean, just an incredible, it helps to play at home, but it's just an incredible performance overall from Texans defense, and was the way CJ Stroud always felt in control of that offense. I never felt like, now granted, when you have a lead, you're kind of comfortable and you can keep your poise, but I never felt like he was really pushing or pressing at all, like a lot of young quarterbacks tend to do in their first playoff game. You got to remember, this kid is a rookie, and he's just mature beyond his years. I haven't seen something like this since Carson Wentz.
We don't talk about him. We don't talk about him.
Wentzylvania.
We don't talk about him.
No, but I.
Wow.
Okay. It's 8:00.
Yeah, he told me to
Thanks,
say 8:00.
Siri. I appreciate that.
Siri did some work.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it was a great game from the Texans. I'm happy for D'Amico Ryan. Hope that he wins, Coach of the Year. I'm just really happy for the Texans. The Texans were supposed to be nobody this year. And they will play the Ravens. So unfortunately, I think the bus stops there for them. I don't think.
I don't know. I said the buck stops here, and they put 45 on them. So
yeah,
I don't know. All I'm saying is, what's surprising to me out of this game, and then we'll bounce out of this one. Like you said, Myles Garrett, one of the best pass rushers in the game.
Yep.
I mean, physical specimen. We call him an alien because, I mean, it's between the comparisons between him and DK Metcalf. I mean, those two. You could put Aaron Donald in there too, but Aaron Donald's a little old. But it's between Myles Garrett and DK Metcalf are aliens of the league because they're so jacked and athletic.
Yeah.
He got 0 sacks. And even what's more shocking, we just double check. They sacked CJ Stroud 0 times. That's most impressive because CJ Stroud didn't run the ball at all. He got 1 yard.
Yeah, he only got 1 yard. Yep.
So that means they didn't touch the guy.
They didn't really generate a lot of pressure, which is what you would expect from the Browns.
Right.
And I don't understand that at all.
That's crazy. Well, we're gonna move on to the next game. That was come on, my internet.
That was exclusively on Peacock. I'm one of those people that actually bought Peacock just so I could watch this game in freezing weather.
I thought about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's the Dolphins, man.
Well, I mean, the Dolphins have had a great year. They were 11-6.
They can't beat a good team.
Yes, that's true. But they also scored 70 in a game. So they were always
team.
They were always interesting to watch, though. Like they had, Tyreek Hill, Waddle. They had just an interesting way of moving their primary offensive targets around that I thought that we would see in Kansas City in -9 or what was it, -2 degree temperatures.
Yeah, it was negative something.
Yeah, so I thought we would get a very entertaining game in Arrowhead Stadium, or excuse me, GEHA Stadium down there. But it wasn't very interesting at all.
That's not even. I feel like there was a disadvantage because obviously Kansas City, it's hard to beat Mahomes in his own home. Like that just goes without saying. But you take
Bengals did it.
Eagles did it too. Flex on flex, you know. What I'm saying?
Yeah. You know,
This year, actually, we
happens.
did it.
It
Occasionally, from time to time. But what I'm saying is, it's. You take a Miami Dolphins team that primarily plays in a warm climate. They play in South Florida. Beautiful. 70, 80 degree weather. It's just 90 degree on a regular day.
Yep.
I mean, any human would love to go down there and just enjoy the sun and the rays. And then you move them up and play in negative 5 degree weather. It doesn't bode well for people that like to be in the sun. So I think that the cold was a little sluggish because I personally didn't see this game. I wanted to, but I didn't get Peacock. So that was that.
You didn't miss much. You didn't miss much at all. And in fact, you probably had a better night because Taylor Swift was constantly on my screen, and that was something.
She is taken away from the game. She is. But hey, Travis Kelce balled out.
Yep.
71 yards, but she scored a touchdown. But it's okay. He still balled out.
Well, okay. So Travis Kelce did have a good game. He dropped a couple passes that were very uncharacteristic for him. Like he's usually sure-handed, especially in these prime
matchups.
These prime matchups, these important playoff matchups. He's usually good to go. So he is. He did have a good game, 7 for 71 yards, but Rashee Rice, that guy is fantastic.
What he run? 4.42?
I have no idea. He runs faster than the DBs because he had 8 receptions, 130 yards, 1 touchdown. I mean, this guy has become the target for Patrick Mahomes.
It's about time.
Yeah, finally. He's more sure-handed than MVS, Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
He got 1 catch for 8 yards. Come on, MVS.
Well, I'm surprised he had 1. I mean, he's going out there with butterfingers. I don't know.
He had 2 targets. So
yeah. I mean, it's insane what Patrick has had to endure all season long with the receivers. With the receivers not being able to actually help him out any. So we'll see how this goes. It's going to be a tough road for them. They go to Buffalo. The Kansas City Chiefs go to Buffalo next week. So
bro got what, 3 rings?
Nah, he's 2-1 in the Super Bowl.
So technically 3 rings. Technically 3 rings. So
wait.
I don't feel sorry for him.
So that means Jalen Hurts technically has a ring?
Exactly. You see how this math works. I mean, we got robbed first of all, but I'm not even go there. But yeah, so yeah, I don't feel sorry for Mahomes. I mean, he won the game first of all, so. You got to do what you got to do to win, and he did what he did to win. I mean, Tua Tagovailoa, however you say that name. I'm not sure he's the guy going forward. He can sling it when conditions are favorable, but you got to be able to beat playoff caliber teams, and they have shown time and time again throughout the season they can't. They just can't.
Yep.
It's baffling. Like they can beat down a bad team. That's easy. I mean, it's not easy because the Eagles. We'll get into that. But I mean, for them, they have the firepower. I mean, they have track stars all over the field, like 4-2, 4-3, 4-3, 4-4, 4-3. Should be easy. Should be real easy.
It should be. It's not. You got to be able to scheme. You got to be able to play some defense. I will say this about their offense. It is the weirdest thing to me that they constantly stall. It's like they may get off to a good start. They may have a good couple of possessions in the middle of the game. But if you pick them off, pick Tua off, if you make Tua fumble, if you hit Tyreek a little bit, Tyreek drops a couple passes, which he's known to do lately because so fast and so mobile. Yeah, but yeah, like it seems like that offense stalls occasionally, and
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. It's almost like they need to kickstart it, get it into gear. So we'll see what the Dolphins do next year. See if they make any moves.
Make those moves. All right, moving on. We're gonna do the late game on Sunday first. Sunday. I think this was Sunday game. Because I want to get to the Cowboys a little bit. It's just going to be quick, simple for the Cowboys. Matthew Stafford should have been playing in this game at some point. He got hit pretty hard. Somebody messed up. Somebody's going to get fired for that. I honestly thought that the Lions would dominate this game.
Yeah.
I mean, Rams, they ended the season at 10-7. Puka Nakua. I mean, that boy is a beast. He had 181 yards in a tub. I mean, we all thought that Cooper Kupp was going to be the guy. Nah, he ain't the guy no more. We'll take him in Philly, though. but Puka Nakua is the new Cooper Kupp in L.A., and it showed. Yeah, I mean, they played well. They played hard. They played valiantly. If they won, the Eagles would be having a home game. It wouldn't have mattered either way. But at the end of the day, they did what they had to do. They still lost. Detroit looks like a formidable
juggernaut.
team. They look a formidable team. They look like they can beat you by 50. They look like they can beat you by 2. They look like they can control the tempo. They can control everything that goes on. They got the pass rushers. They got the running game. They got Jared Goff slinging it for 350 yards or whatever. They have the entire package. I'm not saying that they're completely 100%. Like a complete team like the Ravens or the 49ers, but they are pretty close to being that. The way that they play day in and day out. I mean, who'd have thought that they would have been a 12-win team?
Yeah, they were definitely building towards something, but you just never know with the Lions. It's really good that they finally figured it out. They got the right people around them. Amon St. Brown has just been rolling. Name. Yeah,
Roman God. Amon Ra.
Yeah, he's
is that Roman or Egypt? No, it's Egyptian. That's Egyptian. Yeah.
His dad was really big into like the Israelites, the African Israelites and stuff like that. You should look at their little documentary that they did.
Because I'm fascinated in that kind of in that whole realm of all that. It's fascinating. It's a fascinating read. Anyway, this ain't one of those podcasts. But go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just saying, they've put it together. They've got, Jahmyr Gibbs, Goff. I'm still not a huge fan of Goff, but he has definitely been serviceable for them. Only one touchdown, but he did pretty good, 277 yards. Real quick on Stafford, man. Stafford, like you said, when he got hit, I saw his eyes roll back. And that, if you look at that highlight of that hit, there's no way he should have gone back in that game so quickly. So I don't know. I mean, obviously, if we think it's bad, but the doctors think that he's okay, who are we to say, that he can't go back in the game? But I just feel like there's you had Patrick Mahomes getting his helmet kind of broken the night before, and he stayed in the game. And then you got the thing that happened to Stafford on that. It wasn't a sack, but just a pressure. And man, you gotta be able to take health seriously in the NFL, and we just hope that they're not trying to just keep the playoffs moving instead of taking the players' health into account. But yeah, close game, 23-24. Congrats to the Lions, their first win since 90. Is it 92, 94?
Something like that.
Yeah, it's been a while since they've won a playoff game. They will face this next team that we're talking about.
The Packers.
Actually, no, sorry, they will not face the Packers.
No, they're gonna face a team that beat us, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah.
Anyways, we'll get to that in a minute. So, Cowboys, you're up next. I'm not even going to try to do Stephen A. That's his patented thing. But he definitely trolled y'all. Y'all should go look at that video though. It's funny. Dak Prescott, you're up first. 41 completions. It's a lot of completions. He did a lot of good work in garbage time. 403 yards. That's pretty good. 3 touchdowns. 2 interceptions.
Yep.
I was like, this man. And those 2 interceptions came in the first half. Mm-hmm. One of them was a pick 6.
Pick 6.
I was like, they were praising Dak Prescott the whole year, saying this guy does not turn the ball over at all anymore. Okay, this guy changed his whole thing, and now he's just running away with the MVP because he doesn't turn the ball over.
MVP. They said that MVP candidate Dak Prescott. Those 2 things do not go in the same sentence. I'm sorry.
And he laid an egg. Don't talk about the stats because most of that is garbage time. Look at the stats that happened in the first half. He had under 100 yards. I think he even had under 80 yards of offense in the first half. Mm-hmm. The Packers were up 27-0 in the first, or 7. I should say 7. 27-7 in the first half.
Yep.
27-7.
27-7. And it wasn't even that close.
Yeah. I mean, every time the Cowboys will score, the Packers will score 2 times. Mm-hmm. Like it was just what's the word? Comical to see this. The monumental breakdown. I don't even think Trayvon Diggs would have made a difference in this game.
Nope.
Like that's how badly the defense played. I mean, we don't talk about the Eagles. Trust me, we gonna get to them. But Dallas is a 12-win team that is 8-0 at home.
Won the division.
Well, the
division. Division. Not the conference.
They won the division and were undefeated at home. And you get throttled at home in your first playoff game to the Packers. Ironically, I think the last time the Packers played the Cowboys in the playoffs, Aaron Rodgers was at quarterback, and Dallas had controlled the game until the final seconds when Aaron Rodgers threw that pass to Mercedes Lewis. It was I remember it like yesterday because it was a beautiful thing.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Right there on the sideline, kicked the field goal and a walk off win. So Dallas, hey, I wish I could say I feel sorry for you. I don't. Y'all just need. I don't know what you need to do. I don't really care what you need to do. Just
need Jesus.
Keep Mike McCarthy, because Mike McCarthy is going to bring the promised land to us, not to y'all, to us. So keep him and keep Dak. Great stuff. I like Dak. I'm a Dak fan. I do like Dak as a backup quarterback. He's he can do some things on the back end, like as a backup quarterback.
Oh snap!
Franchise quarterback? I don't know about all that, because I would say this. I'll play Dak from September to mid-October, and then you got to sit. I'm sorry, you got to sit. We
play the first 5 weeks of the season. First 5 weeks.
we gonna play some ballers from there until the Super Bowl. Okay,
yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, so Jordan Love looked phenomenal. 272 yards, 3 touchdowns. He didn't have to do much because Dak gave the ball to him like 3 times. Aaron Jones ran 3 touchdowns, 118 yards. He's a beast. Yeah, we'll move on.
Beast mode.
We'll move on. Packers did what they were supposed to do. We're gonna talk about. Come on. Yeah, it's just it's my equipment. I gotta get some better equipment. So if y'all want to support, send some checks to YDKJ Podcast, so we can upgrade some of our tech. That would be wonderful. We're gonna move on to the last 2 games of the wild card weekend. The Steelers and the Bills. That was the early game. on Monday. The Steelers game was flexed from Sunday at 1 to Monday at 4:30 because of the snowstorm that happened. And boy, was it a snowstorm because it was I don't know what that was, but I know the Bills fans that went out there and shoveled snow had a glorious time doing it for $20 an hour. I don't know if I would do that for $20 an hour. But
I'm gonna need like 50,
and I would need 50 and seats at the 50-yard line. That's gonna be my price.
Well, that was interesting. They said you can basically take whatever seat you want, first come, first serve.
Because
I was like,
they didn't
what?
want to shovel the snow.
Yeah,
They had all the people had to shovel the snow to do that.
yeah,
Like,
that's
all right,
crazy,
cool.
man. Crazy.
But this game boring. We knew who was gonna win. Steelers, as good as they are, Mike Tomlin is a heck of a coach. He has not had a losing season in his tenure as the coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, but he doesn't have a quarterback. His quarterback got hurt midway through the season. Mason Rudolph, great backup quarterback, but you can't rely on him. 2 touchdowns, 229 yards, 22 of 39, 1 interception. Wasn't enough. They were down 21-7 at halftime. And then just couldn't recover. George Pickens won. Let's see, what did he have? George Pickens five catches for 50 yards. He's their primary receiver. He should have had more than Pat Freiermuth, but that's neither here nor there. The story here is Josh Allen. Josh Allen did what he was supposed to do. He had 8 rushes for 74 yards, 1 big rush for 52 yards, and a touchdown. His passing stats really good. 3 touchdowns, 203 yards. It's average because they're in the snow. They didn't have to do much but rush the ball. So boring game. What's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, obviously, like you said, Steelers don't have a quarterback, so we didn't expect much from them. This game, obviously got moved because of the weather, so that kind of threw a wrench into some plans and travel and things like that. But it's a home game for the Bills. They're used to it. They're used to this weather. They know how to go out there and dominate. So congrats to them. They did what was necessary. But the fun trivia of the game for me, Josh Allen had a 52-yard touchdown run. I believe it was in the third quarter, if I'm not mistaken. And they were like, that is the longest run for a quarterback, longest scoring run for a quarterback in the playoffs since the one and only Colin Kaepernick.
Oh.
Yeah.
Haven't heard his name because,
Exactly. I haven't heard a Colin Kaepernick reference in a long time, so that really piqued my interest. So good for you, Josh. You're doing your thing. I don't really like when he runs, but, he lowered his shoulder, got there. He had a gear I didn't even know he had to go ahead and finish out that run for the long touchdown. So Bills look like, they finally got it together. They've been rough all season long. At least the beginning of the season, they were having a rough time getting some wins.
When you let the Eagles beat you, that's rough.
Yeah.
Just saying.
They actually mentioned that, like, when the Eagles beat them, the Eagles started losing, and then the Bills started winning. Like, it was a weird thing.
Transition of energy.
Yeah, it was a weird, strange problem because I think that was the OT win, right, for the Eagles.
Yes, that's the game. That's the game our defense played over 100 snaps.
Yes, yeah, crazy.
Tired them out.
Probably just changed the whole course of the season right there.
Why they can't cover a blade of grass. But we'll get to that.
But yeah, congrats to the Bills. They will play the Kansas City Chiefs. They will host the Kansas City Chiefs.
For the first time. That's going to be wonderful.
That's going to be interesting in the playoffs. First time in the playoffs that Patrick Mahomes is going to have to go out there on the road and show what he can do. We'll see what happens. It's going to be a great battle, and can't wait. Can't wait for next week.
Can't wait for next week. Now, the game that's going to be that's painful for me to talk about. Actually, not really painful because we knew what was going to happen. And if you are an Eagles fan like I am, if you make the excuse that we should have won that game, you're sadly mistaken.
Okay, I want to start with this though. Who was, in your opinion, if you had to rank all 12 teams that played this weekend, who would be number 12?
Eagles.
Okay.
By the way we played, the way we finished the regular season, it'd easily be us. If you ask me, okay, let's go back. Let's look at the 12 teams one more time.
Yeah.
All right. Number 1, I would say the Chiefs. Are number 1 team because of their experience, because the way that they can navigate, they can do the things in the playoffs. They just turn into a playoff team.
Yeah.
As soon as the playoffs hit. So
they got that experience.
They'd be number 1. Cowboys would be number 2. Lions be number 3. Browns probably number 4. Texans number 5.
Dolphins before I would have thought Dolphins before Texans.
I just the context of me knowing that they can't be good teams puts them all the way down for me. Like that they're under the Rams. Yes, I would say 11 Tampa Bay, 12 us. That's the ranking I would go because of just how badly we end. If you get pitched almost a shutout by the Giants of all people, when you could have had a shot, if you won that game and somehow the Cowboys lose, you could have gotten the 2 seed, but you put in little minimal effort to win that game with your starters in the first half. Come on, bro.
But you mentioned this to me. We were talking about it last night when we were watching the game. Like, Tampa Bay stumbled and bumbled their way into the playoffs. And we thought it was going to be the Saints.
And they beat us by 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, but I'm saying before the weekend, I would have never put Tampa up there above number 11 or number 12. I mean, what'd you say? To clinch the NFC South, they beat Carolina 9-0?
Yeah.
They couldn't even get a touchdown?
They couldn't even get a touchdown.
I don't know. I just felt like Tampa was probably the weakest of the teams going into this. But, any given Sunday, something happens, and, you got a little bit of I would say, an upset.
Upset's not even an understatement. We got a beat down. We got humiliated. I honestly, and I hate to say this as a Philadelphia Eagles fan, I honestly wanted them to score 50 on us. And absolutely they should have. Mike Evans dropped 2 touchdown passes.
Yeah.
So they should have scored at least 48 points on us. Mm-hmm. That would have been the catalyst to say, hey, we don't need just minor changes. We need to shake this thing up. Getting beat by a team that couldn't score a touchdown in the final season in a dog-eat-dog game where you need to win to get in, and you make Baker Mayfield look like Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, 337 yards, 3 touchdowns. I mean,
yeah. It's hard to make Baker look good.
Bro, this guy looked like he couldn't miss, and he couldn't miss.
Yep. He was almost like a future Hall of Famer out there. I was like, Baker Mayfield, what?
I mean, it was incredible to see how badly, number 1, our defense could tackle. They didn't know how to tackle. We don't know we don't know fundamental things like angles or breaking down or don't overrun. Just fundamental things they teach you in training camp.
Yeah.
That you don't do these things fundamentally so that you get beat on your tail. That's just, it was mind blowing to see the amount of and this is our veteran players. Darius Slay, Kevin Byard. Let's not even talk about James Bradbury. Just straight trash. I mean, it was just horrific to see. The only change that we made, we sent Avonte Maddox, who was our slot nickel corner, to safety. Mm-hmm. That was a mistake. That was a mistake as well. But we needed a safety. We needed experienced safety. He's played enough safety to be there, but it just didn't matter because we couldn't communicate. We couldn't protect. We couldn't do the simple things that needed to do. I mean, we couldn't play coverage well. We couldn't rush the passer well in the first two series, and then we kind of stuck it together. The defensive line got it together and sacked Baker Mayfield 4 times. We stopped them. We had a chance at halftime. Mm-hmm. We cut it to 7 points. Mm-hmm. After halftime, I was like, all right, we fired up. We got a chance to do this.
Yep.
Came out, went backwards.
Safety.
Bro, what are we doing here?
I don't know.
It was baffling to me. Jalen Hurts, he did all he could. I'm not saying that he part of it is for him to blame, because I don't understand. If you have leeway at the line of scrimmage and you see that they're blitzing you all night, why wouldn't you signal to the hot route? Okay, slant, in breaking route, even a curl, a 5-yard, a 2-yard curl. You know they're on you for 2 seconds. They did that one time. Mm-hmm. The one time they actually called the slant on an all-out blitz. Devonta Smith went for 40-something yards.
Yep.
That's what jump started our offense in the second quarter. After that, they blitzed us 95% of the time, and we didn't do a thing about it.
I don't get that, man. There's got to be either the offensive coordinator making adjustments, or Jalen making adjustments, or Jason Kelsey making adjustments. Somebody
somebody make an adjustment.
Yeah,
Julio. Oh,
he got hurt too.
He wasn't on the field.
Didn't have AJ Brown. Dallas Goedert was upset about being open and him not getting the pass. There were just a lot of mistakes all over the board. I don't know if you really pin it down to one person, which is unfortunate.
No, I could put it down to 11, 22. Yeah, 22 people. I can put it down to 22 people.
Yeah, but I would also say the coaches and coordinators are to blame as well. So it's kind of this weird situation.
I would say this. I put the major blame on the coaching staff. What we saw on the field was a product that was not. It's like, okay, all right, cool. The Eagles are that Roush. Am I saying it right? The trim on the
Mustang.
Ford Mustang, the Roush.
Yeah, the Roush package.
They are that Roush Mustang. Look good on paper, but you get in that junk, transmission slipping. you got a misfire and cylinder 7 and 8.
Oh no!
You got an oil leak. You got. There's so many things under the surface that are going wrong, but that body looks nice.
And a Tesla pulls up next to you and kills you in the quarter mile.
Exactly what happened.
Yeah, man. I think, it's weird. I just thought about this. A lot of teams experience the Super Bowl hangover where, you lose the Super Bowl and then you have issues just coming together, having any type of chemistry, winning games. I feel like the Eagles had that all year long, except for the fact that they were winning early. And so now it finally manifested itself in the worst possible way. Everybody looked dejected. Everybody felt like they wanted to explode or argue. I wouldn't be surprised if there were issues about, the locker room was, a lot of tensions. It was cancerous. People were second guessing coaching. If all those stories come out, people were hurt. I think Jalen was hurt.
Those stories have come out.
Yeah. So I I think there was something else going on there, and it finally culminated in what we see here: 32-9. Eagles just going out in not a blaze of glory. I don't even know what you call this.
In a blaze.
Not
of glory, but in a blaze. Yeah. There's fire.
From hell.
Yeah, there's fire in the building. Jeffrey's gonna have to let it burn. Usher. Burn that thing down.
Usher will be the halftime show this year at the Super Bowl in Las Vegas. It's going to be very good.
That's a fitting song. I want him to invite Nick Sirianni up there when he sings that song. Actually, not Nick Sirianni, Jeffrey Lurie.
Yeah,
Jeffrey, come on up.
Yes,
we're gonna sing this song.
Well, no, Howie, right?
Howie.
The GM,
Whichever one.
Whoever's making the personnel decisions.
Come on up.
You know who else? Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones can get up there.
Oh, yes.
Come up to the altar.
Let it burn. let it all burn. Yeah,
Everybody in the NFC East, really. Just to throw them all up there.
So straight trash. Yeah, man. It's one of those things. We gotta figure something out. I was one of those players. Really. I was one of those.
I mean, I feel the passion.
Yeah,
I feel the energy.
I would have suited up. I would have suited up and hit somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, hey, you would have
actually wrapped up. You would have actually wrapped up.
You don't want to play? I'll play. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'll probably be like Julio Jones, knocked out after the first big hit. Hey, I'm out.
I'll see you later. Send my check in the mail.
I mean, I see how AJ Brown wanted to do it. It said his knee was hurt. I don't think his knee was that hurt. I just think he knew what was going to happen. He was like, "Nah, I'm straight. I'm not going. I don't want any part of this."
Yeah.
There was reports that he was ringside at in Las Vegas at an event.
Oh, excuse me.
I don't know how true those allegations are, but at the same time, I could believe it because it's AJ Brown. He's very vocal. I feel like he is the Terrell Owens of our locker room right now. He's just not as flamboyant. I don't know if that's the right term because Owens was.
He's not as vocal. He's not as much of a showman, but he's definitely getting to that point. I mean, he's also younger.
Yeah, he's younger.
You know, so he's finally getting to that point where he's talking a lot. And I don't know. I mean, who knows if the Eagles will move on from him?
I mean, Devonta is the number one. With what they had on the field, him being double teamed and all that stuff, he had 8 catches for 148 yards. Mm-hmm. This guy was running past double teams. I mean, it was that one catch he had for like 50 or 60 or 70 yards, whatever it was.
Yeah.
What was it? 55 yards.
55, yeah.
That catch for 55 yards down the side. He should have scored on that one, but that was a beauty. And he ran past the safety and the corner. I mean, the corner expected help over the top. Yeah. Safety was flat-footed. But still, like, he was gone. Like, that's incredible. So, I mean, we've got a number one wide receiver if we want it. I
really hope that you guys pick up Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry has probably played his last game for the Tennessee Titans. I think if you guys could pick him up, mix him and match him with Swift in the backfield, dude. That is a run game that could help support Jalen and open up the passing lanes for real.
But timeout. Mm-hmm. We actually got to run the ball for that to happen.
I mean, I think you guys tried. You attempted.
We threw the ball 35 times and ran it for 15.
Yeah, but I think the thing is Jalen has been such a big part of your running offense for so long. If you're trying to like limit his runs now because he may be hurt, right, all season long.
Use Swift.
Well, yeah, I think you should use. But I mean, again, that's why they were using Gainwell as well. I think Gainwell. Maybe not this game, another game. He was doing pretty well. But yeah, if you have like a bruising back like Derrick Henry, and then you got that Swift who's a little more shifty, man, next year could be real good if they're willing to open up those purses, those pocketbooks.
Well, I mean, a lot of people ain't coming back. We have a lot of free agents this year coming up. Fletcher Cox is one of them. Brandon Graham, some of the veterans. We have some of the young guys like Quez Watkins. He ain't coming back. So I mean, we have opportunities to sign some people going forward. We signed a bunch of people on 1-year contracts. Julio Jones proved he can't be on the field. So I would be surprised if they even bring.
I told you, man.
Even bring him back. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. I was like, he's not the guy that he used to be, but I thought he could give something. He gave nothing.
He's always injured. He's still good. He's just always injured.
He ain't good. He's past his prime. He need to retire.
I mean, the injuries got him. He's one of those players that I'm like, man, if he had never been injured, he would have been amazing.
I mean, he should have gotten a ring. That one.
Atlanta.
Matt.
Yeah.
Anyways,
real quick. You want to wrap this one up, and then I want to talk real quick about coaching here.
I'm wrapped up. I'm wrapped up.
Okay.
I'll
Bubble
just
wrap.
I'll just say this. when you get to a point in the NFL season where you're tired of your team playing and you want to wrap this up quickly, that was where I was in this game. I was like, please, let's lose. I'm tired of looking at the product that's on the field. I'm sorry. I don't want to be that kind of a fan, but at the same time, when you lose like that, it's time for a change. Because if we can attempt to come back and win this game,
Yeah.
how are we gonna win? How are we gonna win against Detroit? They're like 2 steps better than the Buccaneers. How are we gonna win against the 49ers? They're 5 steps better than the Detroit Lions.
Detroit Lions, yep.
How are we gonna play? How are we gonna beat either the Kansas City Chiefs or the Baltimore Ravens? They're like 15 steps ahead of anybody that we're playing right now.
Yep.
So I'm like, there was we needed to lose. End of story. We needed to lose.
Yeah, I disagree on that. I always want to see my team play, even if we're struggling, try to figure something out. I mean, yeah, occasionally, you get to the point where it's like, man, are we even trying? Like, who's actually calling the plays? And I'm sure that's what you felt this game. But, it's always nice to make it to the playoffs. Some teams don't make it every year.
That is true. So I count my blessings.
So yeah, like, there's a lot of teams that just don't always get there. So
yeah, that's true.
No, it was good. But as far as coaching is concerned, when we were talking yesterday, you were saying that Sirianni's gone. Do you really believe that? Or maybe you were saying that somebody in the coaching box is gone.
No, I said Sirianni's gone out of frustration yesterday, and my answer would be yes if there was a good option out there. There isn't. Mm-hmm. So I would say Jeffrey Lurie is going to stick with him, just because there isn't any great now. I
mean, there's Bill Belichick out there.
Oh, I don't think he's coming to Philly, and I don't think Jeffrey wants him in the first place. Mm-hmm. Now, offense coordinator, defense coordinator, that's a different story. Yeah. They're going to be replaced ASAP. But as far as the head coach, I mean, I honestly think that he's lost the locker room. We've got a bunch of politicians in the locker room. They say the right things, but they do something completely different. Like, they all say, "Oh, we gonna stick together. We have this fight. I can't wait to see how we come out and do this and do this." Mm-hmm. Since the bye week,
yep,
and they've lost 6 out of 7. So, yeah, you say doesn't match up with what you're doing, and that's politicians. You're good.
All
politicians.
That politicking. No, not good. Yeah, and it led to horrible results. So the culture in the locker room definitely needs to be revamped. Jason Kelce potentially retiring.
Not potentially. He is. He's gone.
It's official?
It's official.
All right, so he's gone. So that's a big blow to the leadership in the locker room. Jalen is just, I feel like he's just not right. Something's wrong. I'm not saying give up on Jalen at all, but I just felt like he may have been hurt or something.
It'll come out. He's got a torn MCL, PCL, something.
Yeah, something. Obviously, that dislocated finger didn't help on his throwing hand either for that game. So, yeah, it's got, changes need to be made. But the one I really am interested, not that you probably care, but I think there's going to be big changes in Dallas. I think Jerry Jones is getting up there in age, and he would like to actually make a playoff run to at least near the Super Bowl before he has to give the reins over to his kids. And so I think Mike McCarthy's gone. I think Dan Quinn is gone. I think they may even try to change from Dak Prescott to Trey Lance. Like, I think there's going to be major changes in Dallas this offseason.
Quick question.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think Jerry's number one motivation is? Super Bowls or money?
Ooh, that's a great question. How about them Cowboys? They said that he makes $73 million per home game. Yeah, $73 million per home game. So his motivation is definitely money. But to that point, you make more money with the more games that you play. So you want to try to play as many as possible. And a Cowboys Super Bowl will make that franchise worth even more billions with a B.
I mean, he already got the most lucrative franchise in all of football. Like you said, he's making 70 plus million
per
a year per game.
Yeah. At least for playoff games.
And merchandise is through the roof. You got delusional Cowboy fans coming out here. This is our year.
Yep. Every year.
They don't care. They don't care about that. So I wouldn't be surprised if, obviously they'll probably get rid of, like you said, the coaching staff for optics. It's going to be an optics look. Okay, well, let's look like we want to actually win something. But the way that they draft, the way that they go about their game plan, go about personnel, like last year's game plan, what were they doing? I don't even know what they were. They were just picking stuff for people. Like it was like what is it called? Schoolyard pickup. Oh, I'm gonna pick him because he big, he fast.
Yeah.
Like that's all they were doing. There was no rhyme or reason. Oh, let's work on our offensive line. Let's get our offensive line good because we know Tyron Smith is leaving. Who they got behind him? Nobody.
Yeah.
Let's get a running back because Tony Pollard. He's not that number one guy. Who they got behind him? Nobody.
Yep.
Dak Prescott. Who he got to throw to? CeeDee Lamb. Other than that, nobody. So there is no rhyme or reason for them when they picked people in. I mean, they got Mazzie Smith or whatever his name is, the defensive tackle from Michigan, saying he benches 500 and something pounds, and he wouldn't. When we were in the push against him, he's gonna just stop. Stop us. We ran the tush push like 50 times on him, and every time we were successful. Like, what are they doing? Nothing. Yeah. So, like that just makes
pause.
So all that shows me is that he just wants money. It's all about the money for Jerry Jones. That's it. He don't care about Super Bowls. It's all about past glory for him. I got 5 Super Bowls. I'm straight.
Yeah.
He don't need no more. Hey, and you can have that mindset. We have won. We need to catch up. So at this point, you can chill. We'll catch up and surpass at some point.
Yeah.
You can sit at 5. We'll see you. We'll see you in the next life.
Yeah, it's really strange because it's like, are they like the Steelers? No. Are they like the Patriots? No. Like, and now I'm not just talking about recent Super Bowls. I'm just saying in general, like when you think of the cream of the crop champions in the NFL, like I don't really think of the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
It's been 30 years now, almost 30 years now since their last Super Bowl championship, which, the Bengals don't have one, so I'm not trying to throw any shade, but like you can't be a quote unquote America's team and be the most valuable franchise without having some sort of consistent greatness.
Right.
Like the Steelers, how they're always in the mix. Like that is something to really look up to. Yeah, and the San Antonio Spurs in the NBA, how they're not recently, but how they were always in the mix for like 2 decades.
Yep.
I mean, that's what you want when you're considered America's team,
right?
Jerry Jones is a salesman, man. That's what it is. That's what it comes down to. But as far as coaching is concerned, I would love to see Belichick with Jerry Jones and see if that could actually work, or either Belichick or Pete Carroll, to see if those 2 guys who recently got let go from their teams, fired, whatever, from their teams, see if that could go. Dallas definitely needs a change. I've never believed in Mike McCarthy in that particular spot as the head coach. So, we'll see what happens. I don't know. It's like the Lakers in basketball. Like you can't avoid them even if they're bad or if they're not underperforming. So we'll see. It's going to be a very funny offseason for a lot of teams, and I'm excited about it. First offseason I'm excited about in a long time with so many different things happening,
I'm not even going to pay attention to the offseason. We got USFL.
UFL.
Sorry,
yeah.
UFL. Yeah, they done changed it all on us.
It's all merged. Yeah.
So
United Football League, baby.
I'm gonna see what they got. I'm a big fan.
We should go to a game in Birmingham.
That's true. We should. We close. We about 6 hours away. So no,
like 3.
3. Yeah, something like that. So yeah, I mean, we should hit something up. I mean,
Yeah, man. We'll figure it out.
figure it
See what we
out.
can do.
Maybe do a live.
Yeah, maybe do a live to get some content for
See
the
it.
TikTok. Go ahead and follow us.
See if the Rock's there. We can.
Yeah, exactly.
Hit 'em up.
Tell the Rock to tell you to go follow IDKJ Podcast on YouTube, as well as subscribing on Spotify and Apple Music and wherever you get your podcasts. Excuse me, Apple Podcasts. Yeah, we're everywhere. So find us and leave a 5-star review because you know you love the content that we bring you every other month or week.
Depending on the sketch, video the sketch.
Yeah, no schedule at the moment, but you know it's always a pleasant surprise when we pop up in your feed. So we appreciate you guys. Leave a comment. Let us know if you want us to do this more often on a regular schedule. That would be something that you could provide feedback on. So
if you would pay a Patreon subscription, let us know, and we will definitely make this happen.
hey, standing on business like Jerry Jones.
That's all I'm saying. Get the
when?
dollar bills, y'all.
Yes. When did we establish this? 2017, 2018?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
It was pretty.
We need to get shirts now. We're established since, it's almost a decade.
Almost
if you think
a
about
decade.
it. I mean, we're professional podcasters. You heard it here first, people.
You heard it here.
Show me the money. All right, man. That will do it for this episode of the podcast. Got anything else, Hugh?
Fly Eagles Fly. Yeah, that's about it.
To free agency. My name is Chris Brown.
And I'm Hubert Maitland.
And we'll catch you in the next one.
Peace.